Welcome back to Gagne Farms. I'm Eric.
And I'm Candace.
And today we're going to give you a July garden tour. So stick around. We're going to take a walk out here in the garden and show you guys how everything's progressing. Let's go. Right here we got sunflowers. And I didn't even know Candace planted these. Until they got about that tall. I'm like, I think Candace planted some sunflowers there. So they're actually looking really good. This is our herb bed. And I know it doesn't look like much, but it's more than what we had last year. So we got some cilantro, some thyme, some dill for our pickles, and some basil in here. And we got a few flowers over here too, marigolds and our sunflowers and things. Over here I had a few extra tomato plants and I never got, wasn't able to put them in the garden. And I just kind of left them in pots, and they've actually taken off here. They're flowering. Let them sit there and finish out for the season. I'll be more of a volunteer. If I get anything off them, I do. Behind me here is our strawberries, and it's first year on strawberries, so they're just kind of getting established, but they're doing good. We did get a few strawberries off them this year. And then right here, this was our first planting of carrots this year that I got to germinate. I planted this one and I couldn't get it to germinate, so I replanted, and it's actually coming in pretty good now. So hopefully we're gonna have 2 successions of carrots here this year, and then we just filled in the bed with some glads here at the end.
Here we have my raised beds with flowers. This was actually a Mother's Day present from my brother-in-law many years ago, and it was just out in the yard, and I started with the lilies. They're one of the easiest flowers for me to grow. They're so pretty. I've loved them in there. They come back every year and they're beautiful. The next thing I planted in here was the daisies, and that's actually because when I was a little girl, I used to go to my grandpa's house and pick daisies for him all the time, and it's one of my fondest memories. So I have my daisies here that make me think about my grandpa. Then this year we added some zinnias and some dahlias and some glads, and they're all blooming nicely. I can't wait till all the color comes out.
Here we got our brassicas, and we've got broccoli and cauliflower in here, and this is actually the best we've ever done with broccoli or cauliflower. So I don't really see anything heading up yet, but I'm confident that we'll get something out of it this year. So they look wonderful. So we've got all sorts of peppers in here, and some of the stuff is really taken off. I actually need to pick some of these. I haven't, we got our bell peppers here, and I haven't seen any bell peppers yet. They're just starting to flower. They're a little bit behind, but I've got a whole bush of pepperoncinis here. There's another bush or plant of pepperoncinis there, and we got some Hungarian wax, and then we got all these beautiful banana peppers here. They're just exploding. Like, look at this guy here. He's just excellent looking. And then jalapenos are just getting going right now. So we did lose, I think, 2 pepper plants out of all of them. So we actually did really good on the pepper plants this year too. All this was started by seed. I think, well, all this up here was, you know, we seeded carrots and radishes and turnips and things like that. But yeah, tomatoes, peppers, it was all started by seed this year. So really saved us a lot of cash. All right, so we're down to tomatoes here. These are our cherry tomatoes down this way, and the DIY trellis here seems to be working out pretty good. We got lots of fruit set here. They're looking awesome, and I just did some pruning on them here throughout the week, and they're looking a lot better. So they're climbing, they're producing, we're getting tomatoes, so everything's looking good. Now this this is the tomato bush. I guess you could call it the tomato bush. What I did here was I actually, I think we made a video, I can link that up here above, of our tomato trellising, and everything worked really good. What I did do is I went in here, and when the tomato plants got just tall enough, I took a string and I tied it to the, from the stem to the fence, and just kind of brought everything into the fence, and then kind of weave it through the fence by hand from there. There's a lot of tomatoes in here, but we were actually getting lots of fruit coming. There's lots of fruit setting right now, so I'm hoping for a bumper crop. We did lose a few of these tomato plants this year, maybe 2 or 3, I think, out of, I think we planted 110 tomatoes, so they're looking great. They are packed in here, but I do need to do, I went through and hand weeded once, I think. I try to come in here and pick the suckers off as much as I can, but yeah, otherwise, I mean, you can see right here, and we've got, oh, right here is fruit all over here. So it's just solid packed in there. Next we got our potatoes, and I believe we planted these in when, March?
March.
We planted these potatoes in March, and it took a little bit for the soil to get warm enough for them to germinate and get going, but they're actually, I think, laying down here real quick. A lot of them flowered, and once they flower, then it's kind of the end of their life cycle. So we're gonna let them die back, and in a few weeks we should be digging potatoes here out of this batch. So we do have another succession of them down at the other end of the garden, so we'll get two harvests of potatoes this year, hopefully. Cabbage. This is our cabbage mess, our mess of cabbage. These are really great. I think we had one cabbage one year, years and years ago, that we did pretty good with. But as you can see, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot smaller than some of you folks have out there, but this is best cabbage row we've ever had. So there's lots of heads here, and even if we have to pick them a little bit smaller, that's fine. But they've all got a head on them, so we didn't lose any cabbage plants here at all this year. This row here, I've got kind of a hodgepodge of radishes, turnips, kohlrabi. I think that's it. So I just kind of did little sections of beds. I've picked through this quite a bit. We've been eating radishes. Some of it has bolted on me. I need to go through here and clean this up. But then I also, I don't know if you can see right here, but in the bare spots, I went through and then replanted. So I've actually got another succession coming up in the same bed of radishes, turnips, and kohlrabi coming. So I'm just gonna pick the bolted stuff, get it out of here, and then kind of give some light for the smaller stuff to get going. So we'll be eating out of this for quite a while yet. Okay, so back here, this is our zucchini squash land, if you will. We had a hard time getting this to germinate because right when we planted, it got real hot and nothing really wanted to germinate for us very well. So I did have to come back in here and I replanted a few, just kind of spot planted, and then the weather kind of cooled down. We got some rain finally, and everything germinated. So these are a little bit behind, but that's okay. We'll take them as they ripen, but they are taking off good now. I did just hit them with a little bit of fertilizer a few days ago before it rained, so they're a little yellow right now, but I know that fertilizer we'll get to those roots here real quick, and this stuff will green right up here in just a day or two. Corn back here. This corn I also had to spot plant, and it didn't germinate very well. Off the first planting, I actually had three stalks of corn that kind of went. I went through here and replanted, and it's coming up pretty good now. I had planted beans, green beans here, and some peas, and I could not get them to germinate for whatever reason. I think it was just the heat and the lack of moisture. I planted them 2 or 3 times and still couldn't get them to germinate, so I kind of just gave up on them. I was going to put something else here. I think what I'm going to end up doing is we're getting ready to start our fall garden, starts inside, so I think I'm going to put something like that right here. We'll just use this space for something else soon. That's my chicken. Cucumbers. These are our pickling cucumbers right here, and these are looking fantabulous. I don't think we've ever had a crop this good of cucumber. It really did help to have the fence like this for them to climb up. I'd like to get a taller fence or a cattle panel for next year, so something that's a little bit taller and they can climb up a little bit higher, because these guys did really good. So I'm hoping to get quite a few pickles off of this. I do have like little baby pickles in here. You can see all the flowers, and they're coming along. They're just starting. I believe I made a video back in early April about planting onions, and I think I said in that video, if I plant 500 onions, I might get 200 of them to grow. You plant 1,000 of something, you're gonna get something, or something along that line. I actually planted 500 onions, and I think I'm gonna get 0. So I did have them, they were going good, and then they all kind of just fell over and rotted. This whole corner of the garden never does very well, and I think it's just a lack of sunlight. I put fertilizer and different things on it to help it out back here, and it's just always been a real hard spot to get anything to grow. We had all of our beautiful garlic back here, and it all either is done and didn't bulb, or it's just a lack of sun. I did something wrong, I'm not sure what yet. This was our first go around with garlic. It got about that tall. It never put on a scape. I was getting ready to, I was always looking to come in and trim the scapes on them, and it didn't ever form a scape, so I wasn't able to trim it, and they just all kind of withered away. I dug a few up just the other day, and they do have bulbs. They're just about as big as the clove that I planted. So we'll figure it out. We'll keep trying on that one. Our strawberries here did good. Oh, there's one right there. Look at that. Tell Sophie to come get that guy. So we got our strawberries here. They actually did pretty good. I fertilized them quite a bit this year as well. I am going to dig them up and put them in the raised bed, probably in the fall, or maybe a little bit later in the summer. I'm going to get them out of here. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this end of the garden, because like I said, it just does terrible back here, and I'm going to figure out some way to use it. We did get our asparagus planted back there. That actually came up pretty good. I think every crown that we planted did come up.
Here's our Ruth Stout method potatoes. I never believed, Eric, that we would grow potatoes in hay, but here they are. They're growing incredible, way up the fence. I'm amazed.
Appreciate you guys hanging out with us and letting us show you our garden. And stick around throughout the year, because we've got to do something with this here. We got to process it, can it, preserve it, eat it. We got to do something with it. So that's all coming up here in the next few weeks.
Thanks for joining us today on our garden tour. If you like what we do here at Gagne Farms, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when we have new videos coming out.
Thanks again, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.